Often when working with leaders on developing strategy, we get the question, how do I improve the strategic thinking of my team? What they're really asking is, how do I help the team become more curious? I want to see more curiosity from my team. I want to see them thinking about things differently, which I think is a fantastic question. And what I want to show you here today is how we use the ICE innovation framework to unlock some of that curiosity in organizations. And so we start with intelligence, which is the business intelligence. And so what we'll often do is work with people for them to understand the landscape that they're in. What are the influencing factors in the environment that they're working in? And a simple way that we do that is say, well, what are all the things that are containing you? The things that are boundaries around what you do, whether they're external factors or internal capabilities. That means there's limits to what you can do. And then what are the things that connect you? Different aspects of your environment that you're connected to, and what's the nature of those connections. And that gives us an understanding at a high level of our strategic landscape and where we can act and when we can act. Then we move that over into the curiosity space, and we start to ask questions of those different connectors and constraints. And we say, borrowing from Dave Snowden's work, where he talks about the preconditions for innovation are resource starvation. We don't have enough resource, time pressure, we don't have enough time, and perspective shift. How are we going to look at this differently? And we can ask questions around those things like, what if we had half the people to do this? Or what if we had to get this done by next month? What would we do? Or how could we look at this differently? The budget, is it only this amount, or is it what could we do for this amount of budget? Okay, and then by asking those questions, we start to create possibilities, and that's where we then move into execution, where there's a bunch of new things that we can try. And the point here is exploring to learn. Okay, so we use safe to fail experiments, which means that if the experiment doesn't work, we can recover from it. And so we have an understanding of what would success look like as we're trying this action. What would failure look like? What would be the indicators of failure? And how would we move away from that? And also, how would we build on that success if we saw it? And so as we're going through that process, as we're learning by doing, we're starting to build more intelligence about our landscape again, and also provide more opportunity for increased curiosity. Because as we're trying things, we're learning, and we're wondering about what other possibilities there might be. And so when we're working on this at AGLX, we don't think about, oh, how do we select curious people? We think about how do we create the conditions for that inherent curiosity that people have to be drawn out. And often that's through a diverse group, like trying to get as diverse a group as possible to ask these questions. And then from there, we find practical ways in our environment to explore some of the wonderings that people have in a way that we can learn from that quickly.